Sometimes the reality of life makes it hard to accept what the future's holding for all of us. Higher force calling us, unexpected visits to the coroner. When tragedy, pain has befallen us, and as we getting older, you quickly realize that you have to be stronger than you ever been. Lifespan has to be longer. Too many people taking life for granted. Too much negativity.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, one half of the S&M Show podcast, and I'm back today with another interview. It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to have this guest on today. I'm on the line with former TNA, former WWE superstar, Miss Stephanie Finocchio, better known as Trinity. Trinity, how you doing today?
I'm great. So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Please, are you kidding me? When I was 12, 2004, TNA, you and Desire, that feud, you versus Jacqueline on the first Victory Road pay-per-view, your feud with Tracy Brooks, working with the late great Amok and Dream Dusty Rhodes. I mean, hey, that's my childhood right there.
Oh my God, those were some awesome memories. Great times for me. But like the most fun I probably had in wrestling. My feud with Desire was epic. Oh my God! And you know what's crazy? We were really good friends after it all. But so much heat between us. I've had like probably the best times feuding with her.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to cover that. That's in my notes. We're going to talk about the indies. We're going to even talk about some, I'll throw you back, we're going to some Cyberspace Wrestling Federation, the late great Billy Firehawk, you and April Hunter doing stuff. Oh man.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, you're probably going to bring up stuff I don't even recall. But I will jar my memory because it's an exciting road. I love talking about wrestling.
Beautiful, beautiful. So first of all, let's get started because we'll talk about the wrestling. We'll get into your stunt work. I mean, roller derby. I'm pretty much you're like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I like being physical. Anything that's gonna keep me physical and excited. Like those are just such like different sport, like wrestling and stunt work and roller derby. You know, very unique things in life, and I get to do them all. And
so I got to ask you, as far as being trained in the wrestling scene, first of all, talk about who are you trained by. I think the SAT was a part of that, Mikey Whipwreck, but who were you like officially trained by? Because I know there was a lot in that process for you in getting into pro wrestling.
Yeah, it was a crazy start because it all actually started when I've been in stunt work way before wrestling, and I was supposed to coordinate a film about backyard wrestling. It was like a small indie film, and I was looking for these guys in Lindenhurst got in trouble with a wrestling ring in their backyard, and they were on the news, and I knew where that was, so I went to their house. I'm like, oh, can I buy you a wrestling ring because I'm doing this movie? And they wanted to keep it, but they told me about the school in Long Island, the EC, that was run by Mikey Whipwreck, and I couldn't believe there was a wrestling school on Long Island. So I went out there. I'm like, I'm looking to have people either double or view my movie. I want to brush up on my training because I also wrestled back in high school, and I wanted to brush up. So I was very familiar with it. I love wrestling, and Mikey Whipwreck was running the school. So I signed up. You know, they didn't take me seriously at all. It was like took my money and pretty much ran. And but the students there at the time were Chris Devine. He was pretty much running the show and training everybody. The SATs were there, and Amazing Red and Quiet Storm. But Chris Devine was pretty much running it. He was the one instructing everybody. But the SATs and Amazing, they were all hanging out all the time, practicing and helping out. So they were there throughout my whole training, and I became friends with them. And they would come. I had a wrestling ring in my yard, so they would come back and train and hang out in my yard. So it was like I was getting, I would go there 2 days a week, and then they would come back to my house 2 days a week. And, then at that time, I believe the SATs were on TNA. So we were like driving to the airport, and I started to do independence with them. And that's how it all really got started. But I think I'm jumping ahead.
Please.
I'm jumping ahead. I'll let you ask me those questions.
Oh, please, you're fine. I'm cool. I mean, I also wanted to ask you because I always like asking about your first match experience. Talk about going into your first match and your and the feelings going into it.
Oh my God, I don't. You know what? That's a lot of that is such a blur because I feel like partially those guys like wanted me around, but they really didn't. Like, I know there was a lot of heat after, like, throughout my whole beginning with those guys, which I consider them all friends, and it didn't seem that way. But I went on independent shows, but I think they more took me because I had the car and I paid gas, and they got free travel. So like, we'll let her pay our way. But, I'm like, all right, I don't care because I want to go too, and I don't know anything about it. So I did a couple of shows and as Chris Devine and Quiet Storm's valet. And, I could already do high flying moves. So I would, they would let me get a move in or something. And I just was excited to be there. And it's funny because I kind of already had wrestling outfits. I dressed crazy in my youth. And it was I was already ready for this. I was born to do it. I got headshots made and I was selling merch already. These guys were because I was already in the stunt work for, a long time. So I kind of had a mind for what WWE was looking for, that, and that's what I looked at and tried to emulate. I'm they want a package. They want the look, everything. So I'm I gotta just build this whole thing, because why not? I love this. I'm I want to go to the top. Why not?
Exactly. And I mean, for some of the people that I have you as far as the independents go, I mean, you wrestled Mercedes Martinez, who we just recently, not too long ago, saw her on NXT. She did the Mae Young Classic. There's Simply Luscious. There's the Portuguese Princess Ariel. April Hunter, who I mentioned. Cyberspace Wrestling Federation. I mean, talk about wrestling for Billy Firehawk's promotion, God rest his soul. I mean, talk about working in that scene.
Well, the couple that you mentioned already, I'm going to back it because I remember Mercedes. Oh my God, she wasn't very friendly, and I was so green at the time, and that was probably one of my. I was so nervous when I had to have a full-on match against these women who they weren't very friendly. And you're supposed to take care of each other, right? But I understand the heat between people. So that was one of my not a great experience. She wasn't really fun to wrestle. And then I got to wrestle Phoenix, Beth. That was a great experience. Again, I'm brand spanking new to this. The ones that were fun where I was getting more experience were Luscious. We started wrestling each other a lot, and we started getting used to each other. April, that was a weird one because one, she wasn't a very nice person. She wasn't really friendly to me, and she had stuff to say about me. So by the time we got to wrestle each other, and I didn't even know she wrestled. As far as I knew, she was a dancer. This is now, I'm in TNA already, so I'm still doing indies. But so when I got to wrestle her, I was oh really? So you already have heat, you're already talking shit, and I got to wrestle you. And I didn't really have respect for her as a wrestler. I didn't even know she wrestled. So I tried to kibosh the match, but I'm all right, I'll go through it. I'm I'm gonna clear the air with her. I'm very New York, very blunt. I approach the problem instead of doing what most women in the business do, talk about you behind your back. I'm so you have a problem with me? What's the problem? And it kind of sucks people, so it's crazy. To tell you the truth, I don't even remember that match at all. That was a blur, not even something that submitted to memory because it wasn't really worth anything. It's hard to say.
It's okay.
It was not a great experience.
Yeah, the other name that I had here that you did on the independent scene, she's another mainstay. I believe she did some work in the New England area, the Portuguese Princess Ariel.
Now, that's when I went to Toulouse, France to wrestle her.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. Oh my God. First of all, to be able to go, them fly me into France and wrestle, it was amazing. That was a great experience. They were all awesome, wonderful, awesome to wrestle her. It was, short, and I only went the one time. I would have loved to have continued, but that was awesome, great experience. Wrestling has brought me such awesome experiences. I actually miss it a lot.
Well, we're going to get into the TNA run, but another one that I saw that you did on the Indies, this was actually, I believe, before your official, initial run into the TNA wrestling company. I mean, you worked for Queen of Chaos, you did a Battle Royal, which was won by Nikita, who would go on to become, Katarina Waters, Katie Lee Burchill, Winter in TNA. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, well, that's the one I was just...
Oh, that's the one, okay.
Now we have... Yeah, that's okay. I'm confusing people. I hit my head a lot. Did I?
Please.
I should give a pre-warning.
Disclaimer.
I hit my head a lot in my life, and I have not so great memories sometimes. So wait, who? Ariel? Not who? I can't think of who that is.
It's okay. I got you. It's all right.
I do remember. Oh my God. See, because this is dating back a long time ago, and I do remember that. I do. Okay, so. Queen of Chaos, that's the awesome experience in France. That was amazing. Okay, now I do remember. Those were very beginning times too. Like Kid Cash brought me into that venue at Ariel, and yes, I believe there was times April Hunter was involved in that too.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, all great experience. But yeah, those are dating back. I kind of once I got to like TNA and WWE. I'm not saying I forgot where I came from, but I really didn't wrestle in the independents really that long or too many promotions. Like those guys did teach me well. Like only wrestle for really good promotions that WWE look at, and I pretty much kept it to like 4 or 5 promotions, and stuck with Ring of Honor and Steve Carino's promotion and the Delaware guy. There was other. It's funny. I'm friends with them on Facebook, but I don't always remember their names by heart. But so I really only 5 or 6 promotions I wrestled for. I might have jumped out to do 1 or 2 here or there, but I really kept it, the ones that were the top that I was taught by, the SATs and Chris Ryan and stuff. And then, I got my shot at TNA pretty quickly because those guys were already there. And then once Chris Ryan and Quiet Storm got their dark match, their audition, I went with them, and then we were signed and we were there. And then I would do some independence on the side through TNA, but I really kept that to a minimum. And, not for any reason that I just, they unfortunately don't really treat you that good on independence, and they don't pay. And in the beginning, I probably worked every promotion once for free. And then obviously I knew they were going to pay a lot for valet or me. So I got that deal. And it wasn't really about money after a while, but you're going there and they're like, they don't even care, and they're, they don't take care, and you don't know who you're wrestling, what's going on. Sometimes it was just, I think I wasn't used to that kind of life or that kind of business because I was already in such a professional business with stunt work. So it was a shocker to me, and I remember asking for the money up front once at a promotion, and I think they practically laughed in my face, but I'm like, oh, that's the smart way to do this. So I don't know if I was well received or it just had nothing to do with that. I don't even think people took too much notice. That, it was take me or leave me. But I was happy once I got a little more professional environment.
I got you, yeah.
So I feel like sometimes I kind of then, not that I forget the independence, but you were talking, we're dating back to 2000, right?
Yeah, 2002, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I have a 20-year career of hitting my head with wrestling and roller derby on top of it. So sometimes you have to jolt my memory going back that far. What are we in 2018? Oh my God, that's
well,
oh my God.
You beat me to the punch on that. You beat me to the punch. I was actually going to say, it's already 16 years ago, and I mean, where does the time go? My God.
I know. I hate to hear numbers like that, but and it's crazy because I still feel and not to toot my horn, but I'm still in that shape because I have to with stunt work and stuff. So I'm pretty proud of that, and it's pretty awesome. And I'll take pictures from just even 2008 to now, and it's oh my God, they're almost the same. And sometimes I feel it's not in better shape. But
well, I'll sincerely, this is with the utmost sincerity and respect for you. You posted on your social media talk about nothing's really changed, and in your little mini skirt there. First of all, you're absolutely stunning. Stop. You're a beautiful woman. Please. But you look great. You still look tremendous. Blessing.
No, it's funny because that made me think of when somebody posted, I think it was TWI posted that picture from the WWE, the strip poker
Oh my
thing.
God.
And those outfits, and then I happened to be wearing something so similar that I have worn WWE the night before, and I'm oh my God. See, that's what I meant by not much has changed because I'm even wearing the same clothes sometimes, so it's funny.
Please, I got no problems. I mean, you're a lovely woman, so I can't complain. But no, on the real, you're very welcome. But on the real, okay, you mentioned the extreme strip poker. I mean, come on, you had the full house. Kelly had the aces, and then I remembered that. Now, okay, well, I'll jump around a little, but talk about the extreme strip poker because you guys did that whole thing. I remember you back in the day. You had that caution tape thing on. You had caution, do not cross.
I say I started that for everybody.
Yes.
I did. I started that before Lady Gaga, before any other wrestlers tried to mimic. That was my thing. I had that even before I got into wrestling. I have a photo shoot where I'm wearing that, like, even before I got into the wrestling. And then it was like, oh, you like... And then I brought it into the wrestling. This is why I brought it into the wrestling. Because, you know, when we got with WWE, they would make us do those, like, bathing suit cons, the body cons. So I really wasn't into that. I really didn't like that, I admit. I really always wanted to wrestle, but I knew I had to go do that stuff with WWE. But I'm like, look, Kelly. I'm like, she was freaking half my age at that time.
Yeah, she was like 20.
Had a body, like a body to die for. She was like a Barbie doll. And not that mine wasn't good either, but it was just different. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to just like pop on another bathing suit and just be blah and try to compete. I'm going for my personality, shock value. So that's how the caution tape came about. Because I'm like, I want to put my fishnets, my booty shorts on, and my boots, but it's a body type. So I'm like, you know, I gotta come in with, you know, hard. And then I'm like, caution tape, bringing it back.
Now,
and I think I won every one of them.
Now, I was 14 at the time when this all transpired, and I'm like, oh my god, the Full House, the Aces that do not cross the fish. That's all, like, this is tremendous. Oh, but yeah, so absolutely. And I mean, what I do remember, and again, we'll go back to this, but jumping around again, the WWE run. I remember there was a lot of, like you said, the bikini contest with you. I think there was one with you, Kelly and Francine, you, Kelly and Ariel, Shelly Martinez. I believe you also got injured. Did you, like, injure your knee at a house show during your WWE tenure?
Oh, that was the biggest disappointment of my career, probably, because it was, like, right when it's pretty much early into WWE, and I broke I shattered my kneecap, because I, like, did a moonsault to the outside, which I'm really used to. I do that, I have done that before, but we were in a bathing suit contest, so I had no padding on. And also, you know, in the body contest, I'm wearing, like, high-heel boots, so the idea was, like, oh, I'm going to get mad at her, and I forget if she runs outside the ring, and I, like, take off my boots, and I'm going to, like, go to the top and do a moonsault on her, but she can't catch me, obviously, so then it was, like, she's going to move out of the way. But I'm like, again, I was comfortable with that, but barefoot, I just had my footing was off on the top rope, so when I did the flip, I was, like, off. I actually thought I was going to hit the guardrails. So, like, I tucked, and I don't really know exactly what happened. I guess my knee, like, slipped off of the padding and hit the concrete, you know, somehow because, yeah. And the work was, I was supposed to act hurt because I would have been, you know, pretend hurt, and the refs come out to get me. So all that was real, but what really did happen was I did hurt my knee. So, like, as they were coming to get me and bringing me out, I was legit hurt. But that's the way it was all supposed to go down, exactly, anyway. But unfortunately, I shattered my kneecap, and I had to get surgery, and the whole rehab, and, you know, it's just, it wasn't, you know, a quick recovery like my other injury that I had with TNA. That one was, like, a much quicker recovery, so that was unfortunate. And I did come back, and I did wrestle. I wrestled Jazz after that at WWE, like, in a house show. But, you know, and then it was pretty much, my contract was up shortly after that and didn't get re-signed. So it was a bummer.
Now, you also wrestled, as far as the WWE run, I got to ask you, you and Kelly, I believe, had a tag match, and you did this on, like, a couple house shows. You guys wrestled Michelle McCool and Jillian Hall. Talk about working those girls.
Oh my God, you know, that's like, I like, don't have much recollection of that. But yes, we did, but I don't have a lot of recollection of that.
Okay. Well,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm even trying to think of it, and when, like, finally, like, I jarred my memory, I remembered Ariel, and I remember that match, and then putting over, and this one, I'm like, I know it did happen, because I remember us, you know, you know what's funny? I'm like, the memory I'm recalling is, like, us talking about it in the hall, and, what's his face was a big help with us, which is funny. He's now married to her, which I didn't even know they were, like, who's married to Michelle McCool right now?
The Undertaker.
Undertaker. Oh my God. So he would always be, like, around her, and always, you know, it's funny, like, how things happen. You're like, oh, you look back, you're like, that was what was happening. Because he was so friendly with her. He was always helping her in her matches. I remember him helping us through those matches and us talking about the matches, but I don't really have much memory in the ring, which is crazy.
And it's so.
I think those house shows. Yeah, I barely remember the WWE house shows. I don't know why. I don't know if they were just so quick and like, you're traveling, house shows, then TV, and TV is such a big deal. And I think then your brain is like, oh my God, and what's going on here? And I didn't always have much going on TV, but it was a very exciting but stressful environment. So I wonder if that's why I don't recall the house shows that much.
And it's so funny, too, because I remember around this time, when WWE brought the ECW brand, you were on there with Guido, Mama Luke, and Big Guido was there for a little bit, and you guys were the FBI.
Yeah.
I was actually, I could say that I actually had the privilege of seeing you live once, because when the Hardy Boys, when they were doing the gimmick going into December to Dismember 2006, it was the Hardy Boys reuniting to go against Eminem, Johnny Nitro, and Joey Mercury. So they had a matchup on ECW, and they wrestled Little Guido and Tony Mama Luke, being accompanied by yourself at Nassau Coliseum.
Wow, yes, that I remember. I remember being with them the whole time. They were awesome. I wish we did more and they'd have built it, because it could have went like many places. But I had a great time with them. I loved to be in their valet, getting involved, and there was so much more that they could have done, like I said, but they didn't really. WWE did things very differently than TNA, so it's like, just getting used to like a little bit of a culture shock or a change because of how they use me in TNA as opposed to WWE.
And it's so funny.
But those guys were great.
And it's so funny because another recollection that I have of it is, so everybody talks about December to Dismember, and yeah, what happened there. But I actually remember you guys wrestled Elijah Burke, who would go on to be the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, and Sylvester Terkay, who had, worked with Kurt Angle, I believe, at the time in the Olympics. And, WWE had signed him. He had just come off a run in Japan for 0-1. And they were, like, really building this guy. And I believe he hit the Muscle Buster on either Guido or Mama Luke. I don't remember, but I distinctly remember him using the Muscle Buster. And just in unison, there was so many fans chanting TNA at that, because this was when Samoa Joe was, like the top guy there in 2006. He was on the rise. He was wrestling Angle. So that's another memory I remember, is the December to Dismember, where you guys wrestled Burke and a Terkay.
Wait, so was that like that wasn't the first one?
No, the first one that you guys were, so December to Dismember 06, that was the one that you wrestled Burke and Terkay. I remember Ariel and Kevin Thorne had a match against, I believe, no, it was Mike Knox and Kelly Kelly against the Sandman or something like that. I don't know, but I remember Sandman was involved.
Yeah, I think I don't remember like the I think like the only one that sticks in my head was the one that I wasn't even signed yet, and like with WWE, and I just happened to be, I went on a Hammer sign when they had the first one.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
Where they were first promoting the ECW back in the brand, and
the one night stand shows, yeah.
What?
The one night stand shows that they did the Hammerstein, yeah.
That wasn't December to Dismember. It was just one night stand.
Yeah, they had one night.
I don't know why.
Yeah, and then they did December to Dismember in December. That was the only one that they ever did.
Okay, because I think I remember the matches you're saying, but I'm like, I think like that was amazing to me because I wasn't signed, and like Paul Heyman brought me on. He's like, come out on stage. I'm like, what am I doing here? But I guess they like knew I was gonna be with, like, they were putting me with the ECW brand. But it was crazy.
Well, yeah, I'm right there with you. By the way, I've hit my head many times
Samoa
too.
Joe,
So,
yeah. I'm not a big fan of Samoa Joe. He was the rudest guy in the Indies. I'll always remember that. He was the rudest guy in the Indies. Like, he was so insulting to women wrestlers. Oh, like the worst experience to him. I'm like, I see that he's like making it, but I'm like, I just ignore it because like he was the meanest, rudest, disrespectful wrestler when I was in the Indies. And I know guys didn't really respect the women, and the women are there for like that, but I wasn't. Like, I worked hard, I trained, and I really didn't bother anyone. I was like quiet. I went there. I was just trying to figure it all out, and he would just like go out of his way to insult and be so disrespectful and rude, like rude and really disrespectful comments. I'm not even going to mention them. But so I'm like, I was like just glad to like get out of that environment sometimes. I think that's like something that I remember because it was like a tough road. Independence and the people and how people are towards each other on that. And again, like I said, I don't. That's probably the way it is, and everybody's trying to pay their dues and make their way, and everybody wants to make it big. So it's probably a lot of miserable people. They're getting hurt for pennies, and I can see why everyone is so mean and rude and loud and cutthroat and nice backstabbing and stuff because it's such a difficult industry and place to be. And I don't know if wrestling makes it that way. Just having WWE used to be the only show in town, and then TNA made a place for everybody. And then I guess people getting mad at people advancing, and then they're not, whatever the case may be. But like I said, I came from the stunt industry already, and I was just really shocked at how it was on the professional level. And I think so. That's why I think sometimes I just because I don't want to hate on anyone. I understand because I understand, but I'm like, wow. So I just try to block some memories, but I don't mind bringing them up and hashing it out.
No, Trinity, I got to say this to you. I mean, we're going to get into the TNA run. I have a couple more WWE stuff to talk about with you, but how does it feel for yourself? Before we got to the Knockouts division and this whole women's revolution, women are just killing it nowadays, but how does it make you feel? And because you were part of this, the early stages, you and Desire, you had Goldilocks, and you guys were an integral part of that, of what we have today.
I know, we had nothing. I was always hoping so much more would, come of the women. They had women coming in there all the time and wrestling for dark matches, and they're like, oh my God, are we going to make a women's, division? And, you were just struggling. I was like, all right, I just want to work. I want to wrestle. I'll wrestle the guys. I'll wrestle anyone. What's going on? So, yeah, I mean, we did some awesome stuff. I wrestled tag teams with guys, and I wrestled the men, and hell yeah, I'm part of that. I'm now that it's booming, and I feel completely forgotten, but I'm fuck yeah, I was there. There was many women before me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, those women really have paved the way.
Yes.
But again, it was during my time, nothing was going on. WWE, there was definitely, they had to wear, but it was funny because it would be they would let them wrestle, then it was lingerie battles, and then they would get serious, and then it wasn't. So I feel like it was always a roller coaster. But yeah, now it's going off, and I'm hello, call me back. I definitely wanted to be part of the Royal Rumble. Everyone was somebody posted something, and people thought it was happening, and I'm someone made a meme, and everyone was texting me. It was awesome, but I'm sure they already had that set, but. I would love to do it.
I'll say this right now. Amber O'Neal has women of wrestling superheroes, out there. So, hey, Amber, give Trinity a call. Please put her on with the great women that we have over there.
I do remember her.
Yes. Yes, Amber O'Neal. Mm-hmm. Now, I got to say this as well, because you mentioned men there. This is a great segue. So you got to wrestle. You got to team with Kid Cash in the beginning stages of TNA. You did a match with him and Amazing Red for the X Division Championship. You're fighting for the X Division Championship. Talk about those memories. Oh, my God. Those were the greatest times of my life. Because, again, you're a woman in this industry. You're really nothing. Fred, you showed that from the independents all your way up. But TNA was really good to me. They were so good to me. I loved it there. But again, they didn't have really a women's division to do anything, and it was battling to just do anything. So when all of that came about, it was the most amazing point in my career, because after that match with Kid Cash, when I went to the locker room, it was all the guys were lined up and shook my hand. It was I was brought it's so hard, because. Like I said, they really didn't think much of women in wrestling. They weren't rude or bad about it. But, you did have all other girls. You have some girls that are trying to be serious and some girls that are walking around making it hard to be taken serious because, they're not being serious about anything. So it's the struggle. And after that, no one to be serious, even though I was doing high-flying moves and, and having little bits here and there. They would thought it was cool. But after that match, like I said, I came out, and I that was probably my
best favorite match of my entire wrestling career. And like I said, when I came back to the locker room, the guys were all shaking my hand and patting on the back, and I was like, oh my God, like I've arrived. Or I've earned everyone's respect, and, you know, and that was an awesome feeling. And that match was just amazing. And, you know, that was awesome of Kid Cash to work with me and put me over and do all that with me. I know that was like a hard thing for men to do with women in the industry, but that was awesome with him. And then everyone after that, like getting to work with me and Red and those matches we had with Mike Sanders and oh my God, why can't I think of those freaking 8 foot tall men that like slammed me? I know you know who they are. The ball guys.
Oh my God. I know you're talking about.
Tall.
I think they went to WWE too. Was it like the Shane twins or something like that? No, I might be off on this. They're both bald guys.
Oh my God, and I love them. I can't believe I can't think of it.
Yeah,
this is just where the hitting my head comes to place. But we'll go back to it. Those guys, you know, they all did something with me. You know, they all took like hard runs, and they all slammed me, and they all caught me, and they all loved to work with me, and it was awesome. Like, even like being able to, like, when they finally let me jump off the cage, like I wanted to always do what the guys were doing, like a kid on the playground. Like I wanted to play with the guys, and Tina always let me go. I'm like, let me go into the crowd, let me go do tables, let me jump off the balcony, let me jump off the cage. They let me just get involved. And the ambulance match, like we had props. This is great. I had so much fun there. I was like, I would be like, I'll take a rail, I'll take a chair, I'll take a table, whatever. Let me do it all.
Now, I'm going to compliment you again, because that moonsault that you did at Lockdown off that cage, it was a thing of beauty.
That was awesome. Like, that feeling going through the air, it's crazy how, like, our brains work, wrestlers or sports people, I don't know. Like, I'm, like, not even thinking of anything when I'm out there. I'm like, this is just awesome. I'm flying. Like, I don't know, who's catching me? Are they going to catch me? Is it going to work? Am I going to get hurt? Nothing. Like, you're up there in pure exhilaration and, like, just, like, leaping off and flying. And I'm like, I think that I just, like, had, like, the biggest smile on my face. And those guys caught me. I mean, I had, like, nothing. I was, like, perfect. Like, landing in the clouds. But the funny thing about that match, and I think I've had this conversation on Facebook with somebody, is that I wasn't booked for that show. I wasn't booked. I wasn't even going, and I flew in on my own dime because I didn't want to miss it, and I wanted to be involved. So I'm like, I'm just going to fly in. Hopefully they'll put me on or something. And so it was like I flew in like right before the show, so I already was dressed like that on the airplane, and that's what I wore. I didn't bring anything with me. And I'm like, I'm just going to go, and hopefully they'll book me, and I'm already wrestle ready. I have, like, that outfit and my wrestling clothes at the defit, just in case. And the shoes that I was wearing were these, like, big, clunky platform wedge shoes, and I did not realize, like, when it was time to climb that cage, that these shoes were not good climbing shoes. They, like, barely fit in the hole to climb the cage. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to climb up to the top of this thing to do my big moonsault and fly in the air and have, like, an epic moment happen. And I'm like, so I'm struggling and worrying, and, like, I don't believe if you could tell, but I could barely get my shoes down. I, like, finally did. I had to do that whole thing with Tracy that she's trying to get. I'm like, all right, you're trying to pull me down. I'm going to fall because I can't even, like, hold on. And I'm like, get off me. I got through that. Then I'm, like, still trying to make it up to the top. Thank God I have, like, awesome upper body strength. And I made it and got to the top and was able to do it. But what a stressful climb. You need to wear certain shoes to climb a cage.
Yes. So,
a crazy moment.
Yeah, so I got to just say this as well. Probably yourself, one of the best female heels in Impact Wrestling history. I loved your heel work. I mean, you were baby.
Wow.
Yeah, you were.
Would never thought that.
You were very good heel. I mean, I thought you were a good heel.
Thank you. That's an awesome compliment because I'm like a baby face too. But yes, everybody has heel in it. But the fact that you're saying it all was good, then I'm impressed. I'm thankful. I'm like, that's what we want to do is make it real and believable. And I probably did have a lot of angst in me, though, at that time. It probably was good heel work and real. So I will take the compliment and say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. But yeah, it's
At
just
that part, I was probably cheated a little bit.
okay. But yeah, I mean, you're great as a heel. You're great as a baby face. Just watching you come down with the FBI, my goodness. And I mean, you just, like I said, jack of all trades. But then, what?
You know what's funny? I really think it's I'm that a lot. I can't claim to be like an actress. I really think all of that was so real. I mean, everything that was happening in wrestling was really happening to me in life, and like I was like a kid in the candy store when I made it, and I was like so excited. So babyface was so real and easy to be. Like I wanted to like fly off of everything, and I just wanted to wrestle, and I wanted to enjoy myself and be the happy go lucky like winner, and you know, and you had all these heels beating me out, which was really part of it. And then finally when I did turn, I think it was like, oh my god, I've like freaking had it. People are hammering me left and right, mentally, physically, emotionally, and all this stuff in my life and wrestling, and it was all real. It was like, I have to say that my wrestling career was, a lot of it was so real. So for it to be good in the babyface and the heel section, it was like, because a lot of it was so real. And I enjoyed every moment of it, good and bad and indifferent. I'll take it all, and I do it again.
Yes. I got to say this as well. So we talk about my guy, 2002 to 2018, my how time flies. So I got to say this to you because this is going to be one of the things I have in my notes. So we actually celebrated the 13-year anniversary of Destination X 2005, where it was yourself, Team Trinity, Phi Delta Slam, Bruno, and Big Tilly against the Disciples of Destruction with Miss Tracy.
Those are the guys. My tag team, but what were their names? They were names before. I mean, those are the guys I'm talking about. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. No. Oh yeah, Phi Delta Slam. Duh. That's me too. See, it's not just you.
No, her guys, the Disciples of Destruction.
Oh, the Harris brothers. Yeah, the Harris brothers.
The Harris brothers. That's it. Okay, so go. That's what we were trying to figure out.
Okay.
They were their guys. But,
all right.
Okay,
yes.
go.
Cool. So, yes, they were the Disciples of Apocalypse in the WWF, and they were the Blue Brothers in the WWF as well, being managed by Uncle Zebekiah. Yes.
Love those guys, the Harris brothers.
The Harris brothers. So, yes, the H-bombs themselves. But, yes, you guys wrestled.
Yes, so they gave me the H-bomb. I got to experience great things. Like, they let me do such great things in TNA, man. It was such an awesome ride. All right, so go ahead. This is I love what we're talking about.
Okay, perfect. So, you guys, this 13 years since Destination X05, you were fighting for the right to become the American Dream Dusty Rhodes assistant.
Awesome.
Oh, man. But, oh, my God. I got to say this as well. I love the line because, all right, so you and Tracy had such a great dichotomy. You know, you're in the back of the truck. You're fighting Johnny Fairplay, and then you know the whole thing. You know, if you want to talk to the Dream, you got to make it an appointment. I mean, just so many great and funny and entertaining segments from that whole dichotomy with you and Tracy.
Yeah, and we really had heat. We really liked each other, so that worked really well. Well, another not so nice girl in business.
Oh boy. Okay, so.
So this was so much fun. It was fun to be at each other's throats because you get to be expressed. Like I think because like that's totally you get to actually express the things you want to, but wouldn't in a professional environment. But yeah, it's wrestling, so you can. They want you to. They force you to. So it was good. I mean, for good TV.
Now, I got to say this as well. There was one thing where you sat on, like, the hay, and you're just like, ah! You let out, like, a scream, and it was just hilarious. And she's like, it's a rope. It's a...
And that was a snake.
Yes. But the whole thing I'm trying to say is one of the best ones. I even had it at home, and I'm watching this. This was during, like, the days of the Fox Sports era. I'm sitting there watching this in the afternoon on, like, Friday, and here comes friggin' Tracy Brooks trying to, oh, you mean Mr. Rhodes? No, it's the Dream. And you even say, you're like, it's the Dream. It's the Amaka Dream. And I'm like, yes. Friggin' trying to be all proper calling him Mr. Rhodes. What is this?
Yeah, those were funny segments.
It was.
Good writing, good fun. I'm glad they made us, we got to do that. It was so much fun. And to work with Dusty Rhodes, oh my God, it was a dream. I think that we even did a segment where, it looked like I slept with her.
Yep. Well,
I come out of the car. I remember all of it. And you know what's funny? At that time, they let me wrestle and do so much awesome stuff that I admit in the beginning it was like I just want to be taken seriously. I just want to wrestle. If you saw you could see my transition from TNA when I first started. My outfits were a lot more coverage. I had like long pants on all the time. I had a shirt on. I was like the serious superhero wrestler. I just wanted to wrestle. And I'm like, I hope they don't make me do all this stuff. But they had other girls for all that. And they really respected me. They put me in great spots. They let me wrestle. So I started getting comfortable and I started enjoying my time there. And then I was like open to do more fun things and be silly and be risque. And I started dressing different. I started acting different because they gave me the perfect respect that I wanted. And then it was, I'm like, then I opened up to this wrestling world and all it had. And then I really enjoyed doing all the stuff, whatever came of it. And like I said, a lot of it was just happened organically. A lot of it was so real, like the heat I had with different people and the things that we went through. A lot of it occurred. It was really my life story. It's crazy. If people really knew that, how much of it was so real in my life.
I'd just like to reiterate this as well. You got to, now this is another historical thing for you as well. You got to wrestle on the first ever 3-hour pay-per-view for TNA at the time, Victory Road, and you wrestled in an open challenge against the departing Jacqueline Moore from the WWE at the time. Talk about working with Miss Jackie.
Oh my God, she was amazing. Amazing. I was so, another great opportunity that TNA gave me and her to wrestle me. And she was so great to work with and so much fun. And I think that, I believe our match got cut short, but it was still, I thought, a great match and I had fun. And just them letting me, that was my, what I was trying to do all the time. Like, that's why I said it was so real. Like, I was like always trying to knock down the door, let me in, let me wrestle, let me be a part of it, let me do this, let me have a match, I want pyro in my entrance. I want to do it all, and I was always fighting it, not in a bad way. I was always asking, I was pushing, I was always like, come on, I got this idea, I get that idea, come on. So, it was a lot of work and a lot of, pushing, but they would give it to me, so I was so thankful, and that was, again, the greatest experience. I loved her. It was like her, Jazz. I just always wanted to wrestle all the awesome. My only regret is that I didn't get to wrestle Victoria. And we see each other all the time out at shows, and I think we would have made the most epic tag team of all time, and we could have been sisters, and she's awesome, and she was one of my favorites. So I didn't get to wrestle her. I mean, I would have loved to wrestle so many more, others too, but yeah, her would have been one on the top.
Well,
that was a great experience with Jen.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was so much fun, and to be on the pay-per-view, and like I said, I got pyro on my entrance. It was like a dream. It was all such a dream, and I had so much fun.
So you and Victoria would be the women. You ain't the women to mess with.
Oh God, yeah, we would be epic tag team, and nobody would. We'd be
unstoppable.
A force. I don't think anyone would be able to beat us. Anybody.
And it's so funny.
I'm putting that out there.
Anybody. It's so funny too, because Trinity, I was looking at some of the what Victoria has coming up, and she's actually going to be fighting Mr. James Ellsworth for that intergender championship that he's carrying around very, very soon.
I know, I did see that on Instagram or something. So yeah, she's still out and about doing her thing, working all the time. It's awesome.
Yes.
I love it. I love keeping up with her stuff. I believe me. If my stunt work is always so busy, believe me, I'm always itching, and I'm like, should I? I don't know. I'm always, it's in my head always. But, it's that's a lifestyle again. You got to get on the road all the time. I miss wrestling and want to do it and love it. But I think that's the only thing I, sometimes will make. But then again, I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do it.
Well,
I know. When I see her all the time, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go meet her out on the road and be a tag team with her and we'll just beat everybody.
Well, speaking of killing it, the NYC, the New York connection, it was Glenn Gilberti, it was Vito LaGrasso, it was Johnny Swinger, it was Trinity. I mean, talk about the NYC.
Oh my God, you're bringing back the greatest memories. They were so great to work with. Oh my God, I love Swinger. Swinger and I have been friends forever. We're still friends. Gabber. Oh my God, so much fun. Such a great. I liked that. That the New York connection. I liked our spot and how we were. It was fun. It was definitely realistic, and we were all had that in us, and it was such a great time. I don't even know how the demise came, how we all broke up, but I think when Vito came,
It's all
Vito kind
Vito's.
of killed us now.
It's all Vito's fault. It's all Vito's
Yeah,
fault.
blame Vito. But yeah, what a fun time. It was great. I enjoyed that.
Well, yeah, because then you got to incorporate
We
more
were a good
matches.
fit.
Yeah, you got to incorporate more matches with Desire. You guys work with Pat Kenny, Simon Diamond, and Sonny Siaki.
Yeah. Siaki, I love them guys. I love all of them.
Now, as far as your TNA run goes, the last match I remember, I believe you had was you and Michael Shane, Matt Bentley, against Chris Sabin and Tracy Brooks, and this was where they did like the whole double turn thing, where Michael Shane turned on you and Chris Sabin turned on. Tracy turned on Chris Sabin, and Michael Shane and Tracy had that whole thing where they went back together with each other. So talk about working with Michael Shane.
Yeah, at first I thought like Dusty forgot who we were, me and Tracy, because people would screw us up all the time, insults. But so I'm like, wait, he's putting me with him, but I guess he had his whole plan, and it was fun. It was quick though. It wasn't very long-lived.
No, it was not.
And so I don't feel like we had time to like. I think everyone was in shock and thought it was a mistake. And we didn't really have time to mesh or figure it out. Like, we were really shoved together at the last minute, so it was a little awkward, So, and it was quick. So, it really wasn't that much to talk about. I think everyone thought it was a mistake and we shocked and shoved together quickly. It was awkward, and then it just had that turn happened, which then that made sense, and that was great. I know they know what they're doing. But so it was very short-lived, so it really wasn't much to get used to or talk about. It didn't last long.
Well, something that was.
But I love all these ideas. They're awesome. The ideas that they come up with, the writers for the show and the gimmicks, and so they definitely. Once I understand them and they play out, then it's like, oh my God, that was awesome. But that was probably the most different one that I was in, and I did it, That wasn't so real to my life. That would just happen quick, and it was.
It's done like
probably
that.
why it happened quick, because
Gotcha.
it wasn't as organic, but it worked. What they wanted to do. It was more I was just thrown in there. I think to have the girl, but that was probably more of a Tracy Shane storyline,
and
it just worked. That we had so much heat,
Yes.
so it made sense.
And it is so funny, too, because this was the last time we saw you in Impact until 2013. You wrestled Knockouts Knockdown, one night only. You fought ODB. Talk about that.
Yeah, I love her, and I would have rather had a better match. It was a bummer because that was such a scramble, getting there and all that was going on. It seemed very unorganized, and I feel our match got cut short, and I didn't get to do my moonsault, and it was just what's going on? But I was so happy to be back, and I was so happy to be in the ring. It's been a while since I was in the ring, and then it was more of a gimmicky match, which was cool. I don't mind. I love ODB. I love wrestling her. Was it my favorite match for a comeback match, and for people to see do I still got him? Am I there? I don't think it fared well, and. So that was a bummer in my mind. I think I'm just my worst critic. If I wanted to come back, I would want it to be I still got it in the ring and this and that. I don't feel like that portrayed that, and it was just quick, and it was and then it was done. So it was bittersweet because I was so happy to be back, but it wasn't my favorite portrayal of my wrestling, and it was quick, and But I enjoyed my trip to Florida. I think that I hung out. I needed a little vacation. so I tried to just enjoy it, ride it out. I saw some old friends. But I had an itch to get back once I got there. And I think I was talking to who was I talking to? The Dudley boys. And they were talking about working me in a gimmick. It was an Italian, kind of like the mother from Sons of Anarchy. And I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. And, nothing ever came of it. But so it was like, it was just exciting to be backstage again and with everyone, So, but like I said, bittersweet as far as the wrestling went. But awesome. Always an awesome experience.
Cool. I mean, I have like a couple final notes with wrestling, and then we'll get into freaking roller derby, stunt work. My goodness. I mean, damn. But I have to say this. So after the WWE run was done, I want to mention this to you because you worked as Stephanie Starr and you fought Peggy Lee Leather and Fantasy, I believe, in an independent show. Like right after the WWE run was done, you did like an indie, and then you just pretty much went back to doing your stunt work. I mean, any recollection of that?
Wait, what?
Yeah, there was like there was a match in like 2000 and I'll go back and check really quickly. Here we go in my notes. Like 2008, it was you as Stephanie Starr. You worked Peggy Lee Leather and Fantasy in a matchup.
Oh, was this in Atlanta?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. It was more like that we were doing the Comic-Con, and, right? I think I was like just representing.
Correct.
Yes. I feel like I was representing Daredevil, but like so they booked me and like I did a match. Yeah. So, and I guess I don't know why it was Stephanie Starr. That's weird.
I think you worked. I think was that like one of your initial like names before the Trinity?
Yeah, when I first started, when I was trying to figure out who I wanted to be, I think I went by that once. I think only because there was another Trinity. That's the only reason why. Back in the day, there was like this really big goth girl wrestler, Trinity, but I already had Trinity, but she was first and in that promotion, so I had to go by something else. So that was how the Stephanie Starr came about for one match. That's it. And then I was on TV, so it was like, I was Trinity where I was, and I didn't know her, and she didn't really wrestle that much or anywhere else, so I wasn't going to change my name for her. But on that promotion, I think that I had to. They would let me be Trinity, even though I wore my clothes in it and everything. And I was like, whoa.
Got you.
Stephanie, and I'm like, oh, so yeah, so, and I think my girlfriend was like, you should be Stephanie Starr. I'm like, no, I'm Trinity. So that was like, my friend thought of that name before, like when I was first getting into it. So yeah, so that's the only reason. And then I guess that's all they remembered, and that's weird. I remember it. I don't remember being Stephanie Starr, but I remember. All right, I remember. Yeah, that I was booked for Comic-Con, and we like tried to work it. They were like, will you have a match? But it really wasn't like anything big.
Got you. Well, you were just like, yeah, sure, I'll have the match.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to wrestle, but I was already booked for that, and I was there for the weekend, and they're like, will you wrestle? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I wasn't booked to wrestle, like I was already booked there, and then the match was asked of me after the fact.
Got you. Now, speaking of something, I got to
So not as exciting as you made it.
Hey, it's okay. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, we're talking history with you. I mean, you had so many matches.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I kind of remember it, like, because it was like the Comic-Con thing.
Okay, so I have to mention this at WWE because I remember watching this on Heat when I believe Heat was on WWE.com. So the Heartthrobs, Romeo and Antonio at the time, I believe they were transitioning into the face gimmick, and you and a young lady by the name of Talia Madison, who would later go on to be Velvet Sky, were sitting in the crowd, just living it up with the Heartthrobs. Talk about that.
I believe, I don't know how exactly that worked out. Like, if we were there, like, at the show, or, I think we were. I think, I wasn't signed yet. I think that they told us to come down, or I went down, and she was there as well. And then they planned that. They were like, put us in there, like, go in the audience, and they'll play you on stage. And I got signed that night, so that was an awesome night for me. Like, we went on stage, we did our thing, and I got signed that night to WWE. So it was an epic moment.
And
something so small and simple as that. And that was my day of signing my contract.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at it nowadays where you have a guy like James Ellsworth who we just see once get crushed by Braun Strowman, and there he's working in the WWE for a year. He's living his dream just after something like one match, and that was it. Like, you one appearance, and then boom, you're right in the WWE.
Well, yeah, I was pushing. I went to, I think that December, the one night stand thing, I went there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm trying to think, yeah, because my friends were on it, and they were like, come, like Johnny's playing, I'd come. And What's great is I had a mutual friend with Mick Foley through the stunt work. One of the stunt coordinators, really good friends with Mick Foley, and he was there. So I had talked to him, and I was pretty much telling him who I was from TNA, and then he introduced me to Johnny Ace, and I talked to Johnny Ace, and we were discussing my contract with TNA and what was going on, and they wanted to meet with me. And so I think when that's what happened, when my contract was up, they were like, come down to the Nassau Coliseum. And, I was definitely hustling. I'm a hustler. I wanted to, I think once you do it, like, I didn't think of that at first, WWE. Like, I really didn't even think of wrestling. I was a stunt woman, but I was always a fan of wrestling, always liked it. And then it just kind of fell in my lap through stunt work, through that independent film. And then when I went and trained and went on some indies, and I loved it, and with TNA, that, like, at first it was like a live stunt show, so I felt like I was doing stunt work, on live TV, and then it was like, oh, I love this wrestling thing, and then it was like, TNA I loved, but in the beginning, it was like, there's no women's division here, they're not, I felt like it was a stepping stone, but then, afterthought, I'm like, TNA was awesome, I loved it, I loved working for them, they did definitely way more than me with, I wish, WWE did more with me, but it was hard to make that decision to go there. Like, how do you not give WWE a chance? It's like the big show, But TNA was like begging me not to go, and it was so hard because I didn't want to leave. But how do you pass up an opportunity? So that was always hard. But once I got a taste of it, it was like I want to go there, and I hustled. I went to talk to people and meet people and showed up, and I kind of was banging down the door a little bit. But I think, obviously them knowing me from TNA, I hope that they saw me, and that's why they gave me a shot. So it was all just like, it was a whirlwind in my life, and then the greatest experience. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, pitch me, did that all really happen?
Yeah, and I mean, I also have, I believe there was like OVW stuff there as well. I think you teamed, I believe there was a match, you teamed with Chris Cage, who would go on to be Kaylee Croft of the Dude Busters, against Beth Phoenix and Aaron Stevens, who would go on to be Damian Sandow, Idol Stevens, Aaron Rex and Impact. I mean, talk about working that tag team matchup.
Yes. Well, I always heard of OVW, like most people go there for the developmental, and I didn't really know what it was all about at all, and I didn't have to go there first. I was signed and I was right on the show, but in the middle of it, they told me I was going to go there to work, a house show. So I went, the first weekend, just stood there and trained, and you learn how things go there, which is crazy. They don't tell you anything, and you just show up, and, and they throw you in the mix and expect you to, figure it out. And, all these people have been there so long, and then they throw you in, and I was, again, getting hazed in the locker room, oh, my God, we have a room. And then the girls that were there, some of them were mean, some of them were nice. I'm like, oh, my God. Throwing your luggage out, because they put it in the wrong spot. I'm like, I know. I'm in a room. There's no, signs. There's no names. There's no lockers. Oh, my God. The experiences which I'm amazed, because it's $1 billion business. And, even when I first showed up at WWE in the locker, it was, crazy how I was treated. I'm like, oh, by even... the hair and makeup people. I'm like, oh my God, this is $1 billion industry. And you're getting, and you think you're just going to go, I'm like, oh, I'm on the show. I have to get my hair and makeup done. That's what we do. We have to look good. And that's why they're here. And you go sit there, and then they don't want to do your hair and makeup, and they're mean to you. I'm like, oh my God. So OVW is a mixed experience. There was great training. But again, they just throw you in and expect you to know, these people are doing it all the time. I'm I just show up. And nobody tells you that. I'm calling out. So I'm all right, I don't know what to do. Oh, show up here this time. I'm oh my God. Very not unprofessionally run. So I get there, and I'm getting beat up because figuring it out. I'm there a week, and then I do a house show. Don't know how to do anything. I just been at WWE, so there's a dress code to go to the shows. So I did that there, and it's oh no, you have to load the ring. I'm like, what? We do it ourselves? Okay. I mean, I've done that before, no problem, but I don't think I'm working for the WWE, and I'm thinking I have to dress up. Such a blind podcast this business. But, so it was a great stint. I did that. I got to wrestle Beth. We had our own match, and then I was a ref for her and Shelly's match. So,
yep.
They did a whole storyline to work up through all that. But it was I think I was there for 2 house shows, and then that was it. It was short-lived, but great fun.
You actually,
Like, we did some big moves.
Yeah.
I think that's when I did my backflip off the top rope for the first time to the mat, not getting hurt. And they're like, "You're gonna do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do it all the time."
and it's funny too because that was actually my follow up to that was the refereeing Shelley and Beth Phoenix. So yeah, I mean, the thing is too. Honestly,
Yeah, I didn't have a ref out, but that was another funny story. I'm like, I don't have a ref out. And I'm like, oh my God, I never refed. And I'm like, running around looking for a ref outfit. I'm proud to say that I made my ref outfit out of gloves. Is that a shocker? I made my ref outfit the night before. I went to like a gift store and found these jail gloves, elbow length gloves, and I took them apart and I made a shirt out of it, out of gloves.
Out of gloves. Now.
Yeah, it was a pretty hot top.
So I gotta ask you. So we talk about the itch to get back in there. I mean, Impact Wrestling has some amazing knockouts. WWE has amazing talents in NXT. Is there any chance of one more maybe from either Impact or, we'll see on NXT television in Florida? Either way, I mean, hey, I would be down for it.
Yeah, of course, I want to go back. Of course I want to go back. It would be nice to get a call to go back. Even one of them. Nobody's calling, unfortunately, but I don't put myself out there either to be making the call. So it's something I have to, like, commit to. I guess, like, I love stunt work. That's, like, really been my life and career before wrestling. I loved that whole part of my life, but, like, I definitely always have loved, like, stunt work. It's such an exciting... they both go hand in hand. Like, like I said, wrestling was like a stunt job all the time. So I love working again back in my business and doing the stunts and, So sometimes it's hard to be like, all right, I'm going to leave this again, and start over with that. Like I said, if they called, I would jump. So me having to make the call is like, it's like something you put off. But I know, you gotta take those chances. So it's in my mind. You never know. I always say you never know. Nothing is ever set in stone, and you never know. So life's exciting, and I'm gonna take it from there.
Well,
See
yeah.
where the wind blows.
Yes. I was gonna say, as a veteran yourself, I mean, I think you would instill great knowledge to the people that we have in the PC at the Performance Center in Florida. So I didn't like a coaching role. I think you would give great advice, being the veteran that you are.
Oh, you're asking me to give advice?
Well, no, I was saying, like, I think you would be, oh, sure, I'll repeat it. It was more like, how there's a lot of coaches now and there now, like Serena Deeb is a coach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you would be great, I think, at giving just advice and coaching and being such a ring veteran that you are.
That's awesome. That would be awesome. I would love that. I would love to, like, I've dabbled coaching and wrestling, very little parts of it, like young kids, like the basics. I don't ever want to sound like, this all-knowing wrestling coach or anything. But I wrestled in high school. I did freestyle, and I did so much. So I really do know the basics. But this business, like, when I was coming up, I guess people didn't think I paid my dues. That's why I got a lot of heat along the lines. Like, but I'm like, what's paying your dues? I'm like, that's why they would give people, I'm like, nowadays there isn't. You got divas coming in from diva searches. You have people coming from reality shows. So to be mad or like, and okay, what you're doing is very noble, like working the indies your whole life. But I'm like, but you also got to know that it's a business. It's the entertainment. Like, people used to be mad at me and like, I'm like, you have to go to the gym. You can't eat McDonald's your whole life, and you got to be in shape. You have to like put together a package that WWE would be interested in. You can't get mad at the people that they take for those reasons. But I would definitely love, that's like I said, I don't think people would respect or put me in that position of a coach, but I don't know why I'm hard on myself. I think I would be epic in that position, and I think people would think I'm an asset there. There you go. And I would love to do that. I would love that.
And the thing is, too, I was just saying, yeah, I think you would be an asset. And no, you're not hard on yourself. I mean, you just want the best. You're out there. You're a go-getter. I mean, what can you say? I mean, that's how you were raised. That's how you were bred.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Now, I want to get into, we're going to talk about the stunt work. Talk about roller derby. I mean, you were a part, I believe it was the Strong Island Derby Revolution. How did you get into roller derby? I mean, that's awesome.
Well, that's funny. What I'll explain. And roller derby, unfortunately, it's just a hobby. Like people sometimes think we get paid, but we don't, and it's just a hobby. But yet, and people get insulted in roller derby when you say a hobby. But it's a hobby in the fact that you pay to play. You know, it's not you're not getting paid, but it's an awesome, most amazing, awesome sport. I love it. It's so unique and different. You know, like people know it different ways. Where it was a show at one point, it was very much like wrestling. But now it's it's a real sport, rules, you know, referees, you go into penalty box, so you make mistakes. So it's come a long way, and it's so different, and it's getting, like, so much more serious and so much more media, should I say. They're recognized even by the Olympics. You know, that would be awesome if it was in the Olympics one day, but as bank tracks, because that's really the way to play it. Unfortunately, because there's not many bank tracks, it's played on a flat track so that it could be played anywhere. But I got into it from a wrestler announcer. I was like, you should play roller derby. When I got out of wrestling, I was like, oh man, I wanted to do something. I actually wanted to play lingerie football. Now it's like it's not called lingerie football. It's a Legends football league, but it was the lingerie football league originally. But they're so serious. I don't know if you ever saw them play. They're like badasses, women that play football, but they didn't have a New York team. And I'm like, maybe I'll start a New York team. And that's what I was thinking of doing. And then someone told me about roller derby. So that filled my void of like training or doing something crazy when I wasn't wrestling at the time. And first I joined, there was actually the Long Island Roller Rebels. And I played with them for a few years. And then they split up. And another team came about, the Strong Island Derby Revolution, and I played for them. Then I also played upstate for a co-ed team, co-ed roller derby. There is men's roller derby too. This is a sport where it's mainly women, but there is men's roller derby, and then they even have co-ed teams. So I played for Man's Ruin, which is a co-ed, and it's like upstate, and then they not broke up, but they split off. And then Empire State Roller Derby. So technically I played, and then I was on the New York All-Stars for the Battle of the All-Stars. So I played a lot of roller derby, and I love it. It's such an awesome, like, you know, it's like hockey, you know, in the sense that it's a physical sport. But again, it was just something I did on the side while I was like get back to stunt work and after wrestling. But amazing. I love it. And I still would be playing to this day. The only reason why I'm not is they're so serious about, you know, you're paying, and that's where the hobby comes in, but they're very serious about making your practices and everything, and they're very hard. I'm like, I'm busy with work. Like, stunt work is like most of the women that play might be housewives or work 9 to 5, and then the practice is after, and my business don't work that way. Like, my hours are whatever, all different hours, so I wasn't able to make practices, and then they don't let you play, and they're idiots like that. And that's why I'm not playing, so I'm kind of mad at them.
Okay.
But roller derby's awesome.
Got you. Now, it's so funny that you mentioned the lingerie football league, because the first time I think I actually got like a shot of like seeing it, I remember Danielle Monet, who would go on to be Summer Rae in the WWE, was actually a part of the lingerie football league, and she was actually very good in the LFL. It was very intense.
I didn't even know that a WWE wrestler was in the lingerie football league. That's awesome.
Yes, and she was good. I mean, I love watching the LFL. Those girls were intense. It was good stuff. Now, your stunt work. Let's. I mean, where to begin with the stunt work? I mean,
I know.
Okay.
Like
all right. Let's do the TV, because I have Oz. You did some stuff for Chiller Cinemas, Sex in the City. I mean, and then I look at the movies. I mean, Anaconda, Daredevil.
Oh yeah, you can't even read my resume. It's so friggin' long at this point. I mean, we're going. I feel like it's 24 years in the making. So to go read my resume would be insane. But it dates back to Oz, soap operas. I can't even. The first movie I think I worked on was The Rock.
Yep.
So that's how far I would date him back. Oh my God, I'm aging myself.
Stop! No,
so
please.
Badass to this day, though.
Well, I mean, I'm looking here,
and I'm still falling downstairs, getting hit by cars. I think I fall downstairs more now than I did in the beginning of my career. It's crazy.
Well, it's so funny. There's so much high profiles. There's Daredevil. There's Swim Fan. There's The School of Rock.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2. The Indiana Jones movies. The War of the Worlds.
Wow.
Ultimatum. Sex and the City.
wow, when you bring them back up, I'm like, holy mackerel. Some of those, like, you just, yeah, and I think it's weird because, like, nowadays there's so much TV out there that I really, like, I don't do as many movies. So it's crazy when you mention all those movies. Wow. Yeah, movies are awesome. Once in a while I pop up, there's so much TV. There's, like, always, like, 50 shows being filmed in New York all the time. So it's, like, it's a TV world right now. Netflix.
Oh, yeah, and it's so funny, too, because what's going on TV right now, personally what I'm looking forward to that's back on right now, and obviously, there's stuff on Netflix and stuff, but I always get a crack out of him because I always compare him. He's like the Gordon Ramsay of the bar industry. Have you Bar Rescue with John Taffer? Have you seen those shows?
Oh, yes, I have watched. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do flick through the channels and I try to, like, see what's going on. But yes, I have seen that a few times.
Oh my!
I think that I watch because you want to see the bar, like what they do, and I have watched a couple of those.
And the most memorable ones are like.
But there's no stunts in that, so I don't really.
Got you. But I'm just saying, it gives you something also to learn out, and obviously the stunts because you're, like I said, big with the stunt work, and it's so funny because I'm going through my list, and I'm packing some stuff out of the house, and I still find, Swim Fan really caught my eye because I remember I still have the VHS of Swim Fan, which was in 2002 with Jesse Bradford, Sherry Appleby, Erica Christensen. I mean, I'm curious about the Swim Fan one because I remember when that came out and I begged my dad to go see that, but he's like, no. And I'm like, oh. So I had to wait till VHS. And I'm just like, all right, but hey.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It is.
Oh, it's great. Who did I double? Erica Christensen, I believe.
Yeah, Erica Christensen.
She was a blonde.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember having the blonde. I remember taking pictures with Freddie Prinze and, yeah, I mean, that was, it was fun. I did, like, all her, like, stunty when she was, like, killing the girl in the pool, and then she gets, like, hit and killed in the pool, and, like, that she's, like, driving the girl off the road on the moped, or she's on the moped chasing. I don't know. That's such a long, like you said, 2002. Again, you always bring up the memories that are, like, so far away. But it was great. It was a great experience. And the coordinator, God rest his soul, he passed. He was an awesome stunt coordinator. Danny Aiello III, he was Danny Aiello's son. You would get some great pictures from that show, but he had passed away. So that's a great memory for that reason as well.
Yeah, and obviously Daredevil. I mean, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner.
I didn't get to meet them because I was doing reshoots out here for that, but then I doubled her again in the Arthur remake, but I didn't get to meet her or him in those movies. Well, a lot of times I get to meet the actors, but those movies, I did all, like, reshoots. So, like, we did the horse stuff for Arthur. We were at Eisenhower Park. So that was awesome, but they weren't around.
Okay. School of Rock, Jack Black, Joan Cusack. I mean, hey. Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, well, I didn't work, like, a lot in that movie. We just did, like, I think that all we did for that, because it wasn't really a stunty movie, as you can tell.
Yes.
It was like he was stage dived on, and we, like, passed them all around as, like, stunt people to that. Because you don't want to drop the actor.
Yeah, you don't know. That's not a good idea.
That was funny. So it wasn't like us doing, like, major stunts for that, but yeah, it's funny the things that you wouldn't think that are stunt work. Sometimes we're doing stuff like that, like protecting the actor when he's diving into the crowd. When I'm diving on extras, I can't catch him.
Yes.
Or that will drop him.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, you want to talk about stunts. Spider-Man 2. I mean, Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco. I mean, the list goes on, but Spider-Man 2, another integral part of the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah, and that was like, there's so much, I wasn't doubling anyone, but there's so much, stunty crowd scenes, so much is going on with, like, car chases and crashes and, whatever. So that was, like, I don't remember exactly the things that they did, but it was always, like, big crowd scenes and car stuff, and, it was always big setups. That was epic, because it was, like, big stuff in the city and lots of extras, lots of stunt people. But I didn't do any particular doubling on that. But there's always so much stuff on big shows like that. Same thing with the Indiana Jones. We were just, like, crowd scenes and car work and, big production parts. Like, with, I didn't double anyone particular on that movie either. Same thing with Sex and the City. That was like, that wasn't really a stunty movie. It was more like car work around the actors. There's a lot of safety that goes on. Like when, like I said, some shows you can tell exactly what are the stunts, and then there's stuff that, they're across the street, you're not going to let regular people pull up cars around them or whatever. Same thing with Bourne. I think it was in Bourne.
Ultimatum.
Supremacy. Ultimatum, one of them. Yeah, same thing. Car chases, car work, which is awesome. I mean, stunt car work in the city is like awesome because either sometimes we own the street, like they'll lock it up and it's just stunts going on, but sometimes we're doing stunts in live traffic, and a lot of the stunt people are like buffers around the hero car, and we're just we're just driving through live traffic and the cameras are in the car and it's just crazy. And I'm like, that's my favorite stuff. When you have to like navigate through the city doing stunts when it's like open traffic. It's crazy.
All right. Now, before we do close out, I just want to say you are more than welcome to come back on anytime. I'd be happy to have you back on.
Yeah, because we didn't even touch a lot of stuff. Well, we definitely talked about what we had to the wrestling. You covered a lot of stuff. You had awesome notes and great memories. You jarred my memory about a lot of things that I don't even, haven't thought of in so long. So I absolutely enjoyed this interview. It was awesome.
Excellent. Now, I'll say this right now. I'm going to be 26 next month, and if you'd have asked 12-year-old Mike Larkin watching Trinity on the Wednesday night pay-per-views, that you would have told him, you're going to be speaking to Trinity in March of 2018 for an interview, I'd be like, no, you're crazy. But I'm glad that we got to do this too. So yes.
That is pretty awesome. That is really awesome to think of, because just that, I'm not saying I'm a big star, but just that, like when you think of something and like look where you are now, it's and you had something come true that you wanted to. That's just cool. Good for you.
Thank you. Yes.
Good for you. Good for me. Awesome interview. And we'll do it again with your UK friends for sure.
Absolutely. Now, all right, before I have you promote the social media, I got to just say this as well. So, now I pretty much pushed you for like Coach Trinity at the Performance Center, and pretty much I'd love to see you do like a seminar or just anything just to advise, being the veteran that you are. Any advice for any guy or gal that wants to get into, whatever they want to do in life, even if it's the professional wrestling industry, just any advice for any guy and gal out there, whatever endeavor that they want to pursue?
Oh my God. So you know what? That question I always remember in interviews is so hard because it's all the industries that I'm in, stunt work and just the entertainment industry and wrestling, they're such difficult industries. So you have to be totally thick-skinned, and you have to just be ready to break down doors and not give up and fight for what you want. Work hard, of course. Unfortunately, a lot in life who but, having background and knowledge and skill and, work on your craft of anything that you're doing, definitely takes you a long way. But it's a tough world, but just smile and have fun. Have fun, because a lot of life and jobs and work can, try to get in the way of that. So just have fun, work hard, enjoy, love what you do, because that's one thing. I always love what I do, and it's not like a job. And so when all that other negative or obstacles get in your way, it becomes, you can make it fun and you can overcome anything. So go for it. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can, or don't pick what you want, but go for it.
All right.
Like people always tell me, oh, you wanted to be a stunt person. Go be one. I mean, that's really all I did. One day I said, I want to be, I was watching TV and there was like jet skiers on there, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Because I raced jet skis back in the day, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I went and I became a stunt woman. And then I said, I'm going to go. This is how wrestling really, really started. Like, a guy I was dating was working out to like Lita or something, I swear. And I'm like, I could do that. And I think I was like a little jealous, and I was like, and I did always want to be wrestling. So I'm like, you know what? The time was just so right. He egged me on, and that's when that movie fell in my lap. But I'm like, not only going to do the movie, but I'm going to become a wrestler. And I said, I'm going to go to WWE, and I did it. So really, if you can believe it and you can think it, you can totally become it. So go for it.
I think the last thing I'll say about your wrestling before we promote the social media. So I've always said you and Lita, I love your guys' moonsaults and the Great Muda, obviously Great Muda, Japanese style. But I love the Fall from Grace, which was your moonsault. The Fall from Grace is one of the prettiest moonsaults I've ever seen, so I always rank you up there at the moonsaults, yes.
You know why, probably? Because I swear to God, when I'm like getting up there to jump, like I said with the key, I am like in pure joy mode, and I just jump and feel like I'm flying. And that's really what's going through my head, so probably why it comes out like it does, because it's pure joy.
Now, please, I'm going to give you the floor because, I mean, just promote the social media, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. I mean, just upcoming events, anything you got going on, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have something in the works, and it's always sucks because I can't talk about it, but that's something so exciting in the works, and hope it all pans out, and then it'll be blowing up on, all social media. But, yeah, right now, I have that independent film forever in the works, the Parkers, Buddy Parker. That's not out yet, but it's still in the works. And, I'm doing my thing. Just don't work, and you never know if you'll see me in the ring, so just keep an eye out. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is Action Trinity. I am actually Action Trinity Inc. It's my business. So come say hi.
Yeah. And well, first of all, okay, I got to ask now, how did the Action Trinity thing come into fruition?
Oh, well, I had a web show for a while. Now I was really into doing this. Is a show that was like back on, again, dating myself, back on MTV a million years ago. I think it was like Joe Cortez and Gabriella Reese, and they used to like do all this epic stuff, and they, had their own show. And I'm like, I always loved that show. And I'm like, my friend started a web page, and I started doing hosting my own web show, Action Trinity, on Cubo Media TV. Which I don't really do it anymore, but actually made it into a reel, to like a audition reel for hosting, because I loved it. I loved being behind the mic, and it was like all like action stuff. I like showed how to blow up a car, and we did some special effects, we did some stunts, we did a charity softball event with the Wounded Warriors. That was awesome. The tattoo show, just anything that's going on, anything like I'm affiliated, and I'm a part of it. Roller derby, the extreme boot camp. Those were like a couple of the segments, and so it was just Action Trinity, and I said, hey, I'm Action Trinity. And now I'm incorporated. That's my company.
All right, well, I will say this. I do wish you the best, all the best going forward, and whatever that you pursue, the Action Trinity, your stunt work, or even if we see you in the squared circle again, like I said, I continue success going forward. And I got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today.
All right, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It was so awesome to be interviewed, and I had so much fun reminiscing.
Excellent.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. So for Mike Larkin, for Trinity, this concludes another interview. Everyone have a great day, and God bless, my friends.